Hello, welcome to my channel Bibbity Bobbity Books. My name is Ellie and this is going to be a tag video. So I thought I would have a go at doing the quick to judge book tag video because I saw Mackenzie from Cherished reads do this video a little while back and I thought it looked really fun. So I will definitely link her video down below, so check that out because she's great, and I'll of course link the original creators of the tag video below as well. But yeah, I haven't actually been tagged by anyone to do this video but I thought I would tag myself because I just think it sounds really fun and it will be a really great video to do. And it's also going to be a great way for me to pick what I'm going to read next because honestly I'm really indecisive, so I need to, you know, have some help in choosing what I'm going to pick up next. But basically the way that this tag video works is that you pick 5 to 10 books from your TBR, you pull them off your shelves and you read the first paragraph of each book, and then you rank the books according to your first impressions basically, and then the book that wins, the book that comes out on top, you then have to add or include into your next TBR. So that is the tag. I thought this would be a great way to, as I said before, pick what I'm going to read next, but also to get a little flavour of what's on my TBR. And also I thought it'd be a great way to kind of inspire you. I don't know, perhaps you might have some of these books on your TBR and this might pique your interest. So yeah, I just thought this would be a really fun one to do. So I am just going to hop straight in and start picking up the books. I'm not going to read the synopses of any of the books just because I feel like the whole point of this video is to judge the books purely on the first paragraph, but I will try and link the books below so that you can find out a little bit more information if you're interested in any of these. And yeah, let's just jump straight in, shall we? Okay, so the first book that I am going to pick up is this one. So this is Tuna Spawn by KJ Sutton. This is a self-published fantasy romance that I've heard a lot of people talking about. Apparently it's quite dark and quite intense, and I'm just really excited to see what all the fuss is about. And also this cover is amazing, it's absolutely beautiful. But let's see what the first paragraph is like. Okay, chapter 1. It says, "They put me in a cage. After that, they loaded it in the back of a van. I tilted with the container and slammed hard onto my elbow, but I didn't give them the satisfaction of crying out. The doors closed, leaving me in darkness. I sat there and shook with rage as the engine rumbled to life. I could hear my captors talking and laughing. One made a lewd joke." That was a good first paragraph. Straight in with the action. She's obviously been captured. I'm intrigued, I have to say. I'm very intrigued. I'm wanting to carry on reading that one. I think that was a really good opening to the book. I definitely am wanting to find out a little bit more. Yeah, I think that was a really great place to start. So I would say that's definitely going to rank quite highly. So that was Tuna Spawn. Very interesting. Okay, what have we got next? Right, I'm going to pick another very popular book. This is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This has been everywhere online, so I'm sure that you've heard about this book before. I feel like everybody has read this except for me. I'm very behind with this one, and I actually got this from my dad for Christmas last year, but I just haven't got around to picking it up. I think I've just been a little bit intimidated by the size of this one because it's quite chunky, and also from all the hype, because I'm just really worried that I'm not going to enjoy it as much as everybody else seems to, and that's kind of put me off picking this one up a little bit. And also I have heard some people say that this book is quite slow, and I just really don't want anything that's going to put me in a slump. So yeah, I've been kind of putting off getting into this one, but we shall see what the first paragraph is like. Perhaps it will inspire me to finally pick this one up. Okay, so the first chapter, let's have a look. Okay, so it literally starts with one sentence. It says, "The girl wakes up in someone else's bed." I mean, I'm intrigued. It's an interesting way to start the book, definitely. I don't know, shall I read the next paragraph as well? I feel like one sentence is just a little bit mean to try and judge the book on just that one sentence. Shall we read the next one? I think we should. Okay, right. So the next paragraph says, "She lies there, perfectly still, tries to hold time like a breath in her chest, as if she can keep the clock from ticking forwards, keep the boy beside her from waking, keep the memory of their night alive through sheer force of will. Okay, the writing seems quite nice in here. It doesn't really give you much though, does it, in terms of like plot or intrigue? I mean, we're straight away in Addie's head, obviously hearing her thoughts and things. I don't know, I have to say this definitely isn't piquing my interest as much as Fortuna Spawn. That definitely started with more of a bang. I did like the first sentence though. I feel like that was quite like a good way to start, you know, the girl wakes up in someone else's bed. That's quite interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna rate this below Fortuna Spawn, I think. It's just not quite as like snappy. Okay, so the next book I'm going to pick up is a sci-fi that I recently hauled. So this is Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdes, and I was just really super intrigued by this cover because I think it's amazing, and I've not actually heard anyone speaking about this before, so I don't know much about this one really. But let's have a little read, shall we? First paragraph. Okay, so firstly the chapter's got a little cat with a space helmet on, which is a great way to start, so I'm already intrigued. I'm already sold on this book. So yeah, right, so the first paragraph. Captain Eva Innocente crept down the central corridor of La Sirena Negra, straining to hear the soft rumble of her quarry over the whine of the FTL drive and the creak of space-cold metal. Okay, so that's quite a short paragraph. I feel like we don't get a huge amount in there. It's very clearly sci-fi because we've already got the creaking space cold metal, so it's obviously set on a spaceship. Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm intrigued, but not as much as some of these other books that we've read so far, unfortunately. I think just because it's such a short paragraph. Oh man, I feel really mean judging these books by the first paragraph alone. It seems a bit unfair, but yeah, if we're strictly going on just the paragraph, I'm probably going to rate this quite low because we didn't have that much, probably less than Addie LaRue. So this one is bottom of the pile, I would say, so far, which is such a shame because I've been really excited to read this one. I think it looks so cute and fun. But there we go. Okay, right, what have we got next? Let's go for a thriller next to mix things up a little bit. So I have got Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. So I read The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell quite recently and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. It definitely didn't keep me on my toes as much as I was hoping it would, and I'm very new to the thriller genre, so I don't feel like I'm an expert at all really, and I'm still kind of finding out what I enjoy and things. But I recently read a different thriller book which is called A Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, and I enjoyed that a lot more than I did The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, so I'm not sure if this is an author that I'm gonna love. But I picked this up because it was in part of a deal. It was like 2 for £4 or something in Asda. It was really cheap. So I do have this one, and you know, I want to give Lisa Jewell another chance and see if I like this one a little bit better. So yeah, this is Invisible Girl. I duck down and pull my hoodie close around my face. Ahead of me, the girl with red hair is picking up speed. She knows she's being followed. I pick up my speed to match hers. I only want to talk to her, but I can tell from the way that she's moving that she's terrified. I slow down at the sound of muffled footsteps behind me. I turn and see a figure coming after us. Okay, so that is good. That is straight away with thriller vibes. We've already got someone who's following someone else, and it sounds good. It sounds like this is going to be a page turner. I am intrigued. I'm wanting to carry on, so I feel like this was a good one. Was it better than KJ Sutton? I'm gonna say no, but it's a close call. It's a close call. They both opened very strongly, but I feel like I'm just a little bit more interested and intrigued by Fortuna Spawn, with her being in the back of this car or vehicle or whatever, and the fact that she's been kidnapped and everything. Whereas this one, I mean, it still sounds really good, but just not quite piquing my interest as much. So yeah, that was a strong contender, but I'm gonna pop that second for now. Right, what have we got next? Okay, let's go for an adult fantasy. So this is The Shadow of the Gods by Gwynne, and I've been really excited about this one. This is the first book in a new adult fantasy series, and it's inspired by Norse mythology, I believe, and I think it's going to be really, really good. But let's have a look at the first paragraph and see what we think. Okay, so this says, "Death is a part of life," Orca whispered into her son's ear. Even though Brekka's arm was drawn back, the ash spear gripped tight in his small white-knuckled fist, and the spearhead aimed at the reindeer in front of them, she could see the hesitation in his eyes, in the set of his jaw. Okay, I'm intrigued. That was a good one. Yeah, I think it's really, really difficult, isn't it, just going on the first paragraph. I think that was quite good. There's definitely more, like, I'm more intrigued than Addie LaRue, and it's difficult. I would say it's not quite as gripping as Fortuna Sworn and Invisible Girl. I'm still very intrigued, but I would say those two definitely kind of piqued my interest the most. I think just because of the way they're written. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit unfair because thriller books are gonna be like, you know, straight in with the action and like gonna have you hooked from the get-go, whereas I feel like things like fantasy, so things like, you know, this book, and also Addie LaRue, which is more like literary fiction, I think, or magical realism, I feel like they're generally a lot slower. So I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit unfair judging books by the first paragraph, but I'm gonna have to rank this maybe third. But yeah, it was definitely a good first paragraph, and I am very excited to get to that one at some point. Okay, right, what have we got next? I've got 3 books left to show you. I am going to go for Radiance next, which is a self-published fantasy romance by Draven. I think it's the first book in a series, correct me if I'm wrong, but this comes very highly reviewed, so I've been keen to get stuck into this one, but we shall see what the first paragraph holds. Okay, so this says, "Today was Ildiko's wedding day, and if she managed not to retch on herself or a guest, she'd consider the entire event a resounding success." Okay, that was great. I mean, that was really, really short. It was only 1 sentence, but I'm hooked. I think that is a really, really great way to start, and it really sets the tone for this book. I mean, I suppose it's a little bit cheating because I do already know a little bit about this book, because I know that it's about an arranged marriage, and the 2 people who are getting married don't actually find each other physically attractive because they're from different fantasy races. So I do already have that little bit of background, but I do feel like that first sentence really sets the tone, because, you know, the fact that Ildiko is saying that her wedding day is going to be a success if she doesn't retch on herself or others, that really goes to show how much she really, really doesn't want to get married, and how much she really is clearly not very happy about the situation. So yeah, I feel like that was a good one. I'm going to rate that quite highly, probably above Shadow of the Gods. Maybe this will take 3rd position. I still feel like Fortuna Sworn and Invisible Girl are higher than this one, just because they were a little bit longer and a little bit more kind of actiony. But I do feel like that was a really great way to start this book, so that's going fairly highly. Right, on to the next book. So the next one I've got is another very, very popular book. So this is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I have heard wonderful things about this book. So this is a retelling of the Trojan War, and it focuses on the relationship between Achilles and Patroclus. I can never pronounce his name right, but yes, it focuses on their relationship, and I think it's from Patroclus's perspective. So I have been very, very keen to get into this one because people say that it's beautiful and that it's a work of art and that it's really moving. But let's see. "My father was a king and the son of kings. He was a short man, as most of us were, and built like a bull, all shoulders. He married my mother when she was 14 and sworn by the priestess to be fruitful. It was a good match, and her father's fortune would go to her husband." So that was a little bit longer, that paragraph. It's very much kind of setting up the background, really, isn't it? I mean, we're already finding out a little bit about this person's family, about the fact that his mother was only 14, my goodness, when she got married to be fruitful. So it's definitely kind of setting up the scene a little bit, but I wouldn't say that it's really gripping and like really piqued my interest. Again, I feel like this is the kind of book that's going to be a little bit slower to get into, and then once you're in it, it's probably going to be really beautiful and everything. But yeah, based purely on the first paragraph alone, I'm probably going to rate this quite low. Yeah, sadly I'm probably going to pop this one fairly near the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry. I am really keen to read it though, because I have heard it's really wonderful, but just purely based on the first paragraph, I'm going to have to pop that one probably fairly low. Okay, so we've come to the final book that I'm going to show you, which is The Witcher by Andrzej Sapkowski. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. So I have had this on my shelves for the longest time, basically ever since the Netflix show came out, because I loved that show. It was great, and I just really wanted to read the books after I watched it, but then I picked it up and it's just been sat on my shelves and I've just never kind of got around to picking it up, so I really need to correct that. But yeah, let's give the first paragraph a read, shall we? I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of The Witcher because of the Netflix show, but it's basically a fantasy series that got turned into a very famous game, so I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the Witcher game. But yes, let's have a little read. The town was in flames. The narrow streets leading to the moat and the first terrace belched smoke and embers, flames devouring the densely clustered thatched houses and licking at the castle walls. From the west, from the harbour gate, the screams and clamour of vicious battle and the dull blows of a battering ram smashing against the walls grew even louder. Okay, so I feel like that was a great first paragraph. What a great way to finish this video on. I am really intrigued. We're straight in with the action. We've got flames licking the castle walls, we've got a vicious battle going on, we've got a battering ram smashing against the walls. I am very keen to carry on reading this one. I definitely say that my interest is piqued. I've got to say this is probably the best first paragraph out of all these books, but I mean it's really difficult to judge them and to pop them in order, but I am probably going to pop this one on the top. I would say that was a really gripping one, and to be fair, I am kind of in the mood for fantasy at the moment more than thriller, which is probably swaying my decision a little bit. But yeah, I think that was a really great first paragraph, and I am very intrigued. So I think we have ourselves a winner. Who'd have thought? Best till last. I'm finally going to get round to reading The Witcher. I'm very excited. So yeah, that goes to the top of the pile. I hope you enjoyed this video. I feel like it was a little bit all over the place, so I'm sorry if it was a little bit... but I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and I hope this inspired you perhaps to pick up some of these books. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know what you would put top out of this stack of books. And yeah, I guess I will see you next time with another video. Bye.